Howdy folks, last week Arminder from the Rum Revival put out his 2025 Best Rums of the Year video. Just a little bit late, and usually Arminder will talk about some pretty obscure bottles. They're obscure to me anyway. I can't get almost anything he talks about here in Oregon. And that means if I wanted to get a rum from one of these independent bottlers or blenders, I would have to mail order, and that's something I've done, and I'll do it if I really want the rum, but it can get pretty expensive. And these are expensive rums already, so it's really not something I love to do. Also, let's face it, I'm not trying to fill this house up with rum. I'm actually trying to cut back on the number of bottles I have. I'm trying to make room to get something different in here. So for now, I'm on a bit of a rum buying moratorium, I guess. All that being said, I actually had 4 of the bottles that he mentioned in his video, and I thought, that'll be a fun tasting. Let's do that. So that's what we're going to do today. It's Rum Talk. First up, we have this Worthy Park unaged single barrel made for something called Skurnik 9th Floor Selection. I don't know what that is. But the neat thing about this rum is that it is made from cane juice, not molasses. Now that's not something you see every day from Worthy Park, although I think it would be pretty neat. I don't know how often they make cane juice rum, but it's pretty good, so they should do it more often, I think. And despite what I said earlier, I did actually mail order this one from Astor Wines when I saw this bottle on Arminder's channel maybe a year ago. It seemed like it would be worth having because of how cool and strange it is. So anyway, let's try it. Oh, forgot to mention it is 54%, and I don't remember how much it cost, but it was kind of a lot. All right, unaged, obviously, so no color on this one, but the smell is amazing. This has been fermented for a long time, and it is very, very funky. A lot of those pineapple, banana. Actually, I get kind of a coconut smell, kind of weirdly. It has kind of an acidic sharpness to it on the nose. Yeah, I like that. Let's give it a taste. A little hot, a little hotter than you might expect for 54%, but not bad at all once you get used to it. Yeah, a lot coconut, I guess, is what I'm getting. A little bit acidic, a little bit of pineapple maybe, a little bit of that savory cane juice, not olive exactly, but just a little hint of that savoriness. I think that's really fun. I haven't really tried it in cocktails yet, but I bet it would make like an amazing addition to something like an old-fashioned, or a daiquiri, of course. Whatever, like, we'll find something delicious to make with this. Now, this was pretty expensive, but I think it was worth it because it's kind of a weird combo of funky and grassy savory. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. But speaking of expensive, let's turn to Hampden 1793, which got Arminder's award called Rum That Should Have Been the Affordable Rum of the Year, but boy oh boy was it not. And I agree, this rum is kind of expensive. It was $91, and it's 3 years old and 46%, as Arminder pointed out, which doesn't, I don't know, that doesn't really track. A lot of the Hampden runs have been getting like more and more expensive, which is kind of a bummer. The 8 year is $102 here, and the Pagos is $115. I mean, they're good, but that's kind of a lot, I guess. I feel like a lot of people might enjoy these if they were, just a little bit less expensive. But what can you do? It's a crazy world. And this is HLCF aged 3 years. HLCF is the Rumfire mark. If you're not familiar, let's give it. Let's see what we think. It does have that Hampden acidity on the nose, biscuity, bready aroma to me. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, I mean, pretty good. Acidic sort of pineapple, that biscuit thing I always get, and then like a kind of a nice lingering fruity aftertaste. It's kind of longer to me, like a longer palate, I guess you'd say. Yeah, it's still in my mouth, this sort of pineapple-y acidity. I mean, that's pretty good. Maybe not everything I want from a Hampden. Maybe you want more of that sort of caramely note you get from a longer age, but I mean, I bet it would make an excellent daiquiri or a great addition to an old-fashioned or something else. Again, pretty good. If it wasn't so expensive, you know, yeah. You might use it for a lot of things. But yeah, I've been enjoying sipping on this a little bit. It does have alligators on the label, so that's fun. But yeah, let's move on to rum number 3. Rum number 3 is Alambique Serrano Tres Años. It didn't actually win an award at Arminder's video, but it did get an honorable mention for aged rums aged 3 years or less. I really like this one. Alambique Serrano is a fun new addition to the rum world, I think. I did talk about their Cartier 30 bottle a while back, which is bonkers, 70%. This is 46.1%. It is 82% Castle Column still and 12% pot still, and then aged for 40 months in new French oak. I think that's kind of neat. Like, you don't, a lot of stuff gets aged in ex-bourbon barrels, of course, but I mean, you don't often see a lot of new French oak rum, so I think that's pretty unique, pretty cool, pretty neat to get more rum from Oaxaca. Love it. This and the Cartier 30 are the only two Alambique Serranos I can get here in Oregon currently. There seem to be a lot more out there if you look at Arminder's shelf, but yeah, I'm hoping to get more in the future because they seem really neat. Oh, and this costs $67, which I think is not too bad. Now, it is a nice dark color, which I kind of like. The Hampden, both 3 years, the Hampden is way, way paler than this, which I thought was interesting. And it's got a really interesting aroma. Very caramely, but sometimes I have trouble identifying aromas. My palate's not something that great, but I feel it's got like it's woody on the nose, but also like sort of a green apple, like a green apple that's been sitting out in the rain. I guess, maybe, I don't know. Hard to say, but like a fruitiness on the nose that is a little surprising to me, I guess. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, this sort of appley fruitiness. It's fruity, but not in the sort of pineapple way of like a Jamaican, but like a drier sweetness, if that makes sense. Kind of a little bit of like that minerality to it. Not like really acidic, kind of woody, but I think it's so interesting and weird. I don't know a ton about French oak or what it tastes like in other things, but I mean, would that make it more like cognac tasting? It doesn't taste like cognac, but yeah, it's like round and rich. I really like this one. I've been drinking it pretty frequently. It's also made from cane juice, which is another interesting aspect to these guys. Yeah. That's where that sort of, I think where that mineral sort of grassiness comes from. Yeah, the nose is amazing to me. Let's have another sip. Second sip, you get more other fruits. Yeah. Maybe a little banana grape, maybe. Again, it's hard to pick some of these apart, but like apple and pear, I'm gonna say, which pretty neat. Alambique Serrano, if you're watching, send more bottles to Oregon. Or I probably should say Oregon OLCC, if you're watching, get more Alambique Serrano. They're not watching, so. Okay, our last rum is actually Arminder's Rum of the Year for 2025. But before we get to that, there was another honorable mention called Black Tot Historic Solera, which I thought sounded pretty neat. Arminder sounded a little on the fence about it, but said it made a great Navy grog. I was hoping to go get that one for this video too. It looks like that was once available here, but does not seem to be available now, so I couldn't get it. I was really hopeful, but maybe someday it'll come back. Keep your fingers crossed for me. All right, 2025 Rum of the Year, according to Arminder, Papalin Jamaica High Ester 5-year-old. 5-year-old? 5 years old. I was pretty excited that this one got to Oregon. We've been getting all these Papalins. I think that there's some kind of arrangement they have with Velier or whoever distributes these, because we've been getting them pretty reliably, which is great. This is a blend of 3 Jamaican rums: Hampden, Worthy Park and Long Pond. Aged 5 years at the different distilleries and then blended together and sent to us. Bottled at 57% and cost me $71, which sounds pretty reasonable if you ask me. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Hampden? Only 71 for this, not bad. Now, Arminder is very excited about this bottle. Says it's zippy and zingy, and he mentioned that it had a sort of absinthe note that I'm gonna try and detect right now, see what we think. So let's try this. On the nose, not overwhelmingly like funky or anything. Smells, you know, caramely like you might expect. A little bit of fruit, but you know, nothing crazy. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, this is it's a little acidic. It is. It's zippy. Fruit notes coming through the whole thing. Pineapple, banana, sort of weaving in and out. Yeah, it's rich. Does it taste sweet? It doesn't taste that sweet, but it tastes. It's complex and delicious. I do actually really like it. I forgot to see if I could detect that absinthe, but so let me give it another. Let me give it another taste. I'm having a little trouble detecting that. I'm having a little trouble detecting that, but I think right at the end, right at the end is like an aftertaste. If you've had absinthe, I assume you have. It's like it's a lingering licoricey-ness at the end, which I never really noticed before. Maybe I didn't concentrate enough at the end, but yeah, really complex, delicious to sip on its own. Like a nice balance of the different distilleries, I think. A little bit of that Hampden acidity, not too much. Lots of those different fruits coming in and out. I think it's really good. Luscious, rich, you know, kind of zingy. It's got a little zing to it. I think that's really good. Does make a delicious Mai Tai. I had one a while back. Yeah, like what more could you ask for? Rum of the year. And at 57, actually pretty easy to drink. Maybe the easiest of all of these, except for Alambique Serrano. The Worthy Park, it was pretty hot. The Hampden is, you know, a little bit sharp on your palate. This is actually very drinkable. So there you go. All right, y'all. These rums will probably make an appearance in a future rum talk. I think it's fun to try rums in the context of other similar rums, so you can sort of try and compare, sort of tease out you know, the similarities and differences and what causes this or that. That's fun for me. So look out for those in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Rum talk, do 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 do.